Hi, I'm StogieShane with tobaccy.com. Today I'm reviewing the Perdomo Champagne Noir, released by Nick Perdomo, to follow up on his highly successful Perdomo Champagne. If you haven't seen or read a review on such, I've done one already. You can look for it here on my YouTube channel, or you can look for it on my WordPress blog or on tobaccy.com. It runs about the same price. These are $7.95 usually, and as is the regular champagne. It's a great cigar. As you can see, it's quite oily. It's not highly oily, but sufficiently anyways, with some minor stippling, a beautiful large band, which is very similar to the Connecticut Shade version of the same stick. It's very, very earthy on a pre-light smell, like very dry cut straw, not fresh, wet straw. Doesn't have that same swampy smell. It actually smells quite sweet, maybe like sweet cedar. In this version, the wrapper, instead of being Connecticut Shade, is actually a triple fermented Maduro Nicaraguan wrapper that's been aged nearly 2 years in bourbon barrels, which gives it a very good, smooth, mellow taste. The filler and binder are both Nicaraguan long filler and such. I'm going to cut it and start burning it and be back in just a few minutes and tell you how it is. Within just a few moments of lighting the Champagne Noir, you know you're not dealing with the straight champagne version. Of course, the wrapper gives that away, and it should, but it's a big departure from the original champagne. It's still very smooth and very creamy, but notably stronger. Not a full-bodied cigar, but maybe a little bit heavier than medium-bodied. There are hints of oak that really, really prevail in the thing. Typically, a wrapper doesn't have that much influence, even if it's aged in oak barrels. I still think that there's good hints of oak coming from the filler of the cigar itself. As you can see, there are some slight fractures through the ash, so you'll probably want to ash the cigar in thirds. It's a little bit flaky. Some flakes of the ash will come off. It may dribble just a little bit, but it's not bad. It does have hints of oak on the finish. Hints of oak right there in the beginning, but there's also hints of cocoa on the finish. Mildly sweet, and the cocoa is something really just to look for, and it kind of brings a creaminess to all of it. Excellent smoke. As you can see, it's burning very, very well all the way around the circumference. So far it's great, and I'll be back in just a minute. The second third of the Champagne Noir is very similar to the first third. The only departure from the similarities are that it does get a little bit stronger, actually leaning more to the full-bodied side than the medium-bodied side. Still great, still creamy, but not quite as smooth as it was. By no means at all is it a harsh smoke, but it does lack some of the smoothness that will marry all the flavors in. A lot of people like that. I tend to love it. I do like it when they marry just a little bit better, but for the price you can't argue at all. The construction, I tried to smoke it beyond a full third just to give you an idea of what it would look like, and you can see it's got heavy fractures, so at this point, if you're smoking it as normal without being really cautious, it will fall in your lap. Quite flaky and fractured. Doesn't take much effort to ash at that point. It breaks off pretty even. I will continue on with the final third and be back and give you some closing notes in just a sec. As you can see, the cigar has progressively gotten a little bit rougher in terms of construction. Little by little, the fractures get heavier, the voids get a little thicker. So it does lend itself to be slightly messy in the flakiness department. It's kept a good burn. I haven't had to relight it or touch it up. In fact, that would probably lend itself to being a little bit of a rougher burn. Even even more construction flaws or fractures and flakiness. So with that said, I get, it's not bad. You've just got to keep an eye on the dribbling. The final third is exactly what I expected given the progression of the cigar so far. It's gotten bolder, it's gotten more intense, it's gotten a little less creamy, and it's walked itself to the full-bodied end. I've smoked a couple of the larger versions of this cigar, the Churchill specifically, and it has a lot more smoothness and a lot more complexity. So, that comes from just being longer and your draw being able to go through much more of the unburned tobacco before it hits your lips. And it has a longer progression and more creaminess from start to finish. So if you're looking for a good bold cigar out of this, you would absolutely pick up the Robusto version. But if you're looking for a long, creamy, enjoyable smoke, I do know that Churchill will absolutely deliver on that front. Again, it's just a really good tasting on the lips, given the aging and fermenting in the bourbon barrels. I'd recommend picking one up, see what you think, and just please comment, leave some remarks on the YouTube page, and subscribe. And be sure to visit tobaccy.com and have a look at these things and pick some up. Thanks.